what the heck are y'all gonna do? Like,
we're gonna rebuild like we always do.
yeah.
I'm 40 years old, and this is by far the worst I've ever seen.
Corey Petrie grew up in Cutoff, Louisiana, next to Lafourche Parish, a small community just outside of New Orleans. Well, he's lived in Canada for over 20 years. Most of his family, including his nephew Ryan and Ryan's wife Jada, weathered the storm in their hometown.
I have lived on this bayou. I'm 40 years old. I have lived on this bayou my entire life. And there's so much destruction that I get lost on where I'm at. I have to find a familiar building.
Corey's two brothers and mom evacuated before the storm hit. But Jada and Ryan work at the local fire department and stayed as emergency responders through the storm.
There was a fire in the community. They knew about it, but they couldn't respond because the winds were far too high, far too intense for a fire truck to safely go out.
The storm knocked down power lines, leaving entire communities without electricity, gas, or internet that is still yet to be restored. The pair were texting as the storm hit, but with phone lines down, Corey says there were several hours where he wouldn't hear from her.
Then you get a little more and more worried because then you're not hearing back. And with Jada, it wasn't until like 2:30 in the morning that a message was able to come through.
While they were able to hunker down at the fire station, the hurricane damaged the roof of their home, letting in heavy rain.
I'm bracing myself for what it's going to be like for our kids to see our house.
A levee system held back most of the water from Lafourche, and residents didn't report any major flooding. But cities right on the coast like Grand Isles were completely flooded. For many local families, the damage is devastating. Local schools and churches were also destroyed. Oh my God! And the roof of the only hospital in the region was ripped right off and blown away, forcing all patients and staff to evacuate.
When you have a whole community of people with this wide swath of destruction, along with communities in other places that have had damage, now you're fighting for those resources. It might be months and months before your house gets addressed.
Temperatures up to 40 degrees and a lack of power are putting a damper on rescue and cleanup efforts across Louisiana and Mississippi, where officials estimate Hurricane Ida caused around $50 billion worth of damage and killed at least 5 people.